Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Dental Unfiltered. I'm Matt Brown. This is Dr. Andrew Vallo, my normal co host. Today, we have a short but really important episode. This is an update episode to Dr. Vallo's bonus system. So we'll title it like Bonus 2.0 or Upgrades to Doc's bonus system or update to it. But Doc, why don't you, we all know bonuses are really critical in your environment. You believe in them for your organization. Let's talk about the upgrades you've made to the bonus system, what you've changed.
Yeah. So, guys, we're not going to dive into deep detail of all my different bonus systems. If you want that, we've got other episodes already released that go into detail about my different team bonuses, office manager bonuses, hygiene bonuses, treatment coordinator bonuses, you name it. And I'm not really changing any of that. So this isn't me changing my different bonuses that are out there. This is me adding another kind of layer or requirement to the bonus system. So as we've gotten bigger and bigger, we've realized that while our revenue has gone up, costs have gone up as well. And so, basically our nut we've got to crack every month in order to maintain reasonable profit levels for the month has gotten a lot higher. And so over the last couple of months, while generally speaking, we've hit the mark where we want to be at kind of that minimum profitability that we want to be at. In May, we had not a like bad month, not a huge decline, but we were just kind of a little bit under that mark. And, we had some offices that had really great months. And we had other offices that were kind of lagging. And so typically speaking, when offices have great months, it means that they're getting, nice bonuses, for the different categories and things. And when offices have less nice months, it typically means they're not. But like, as I'm like looking at payroll and looking at bonuses and all that stuff, I'm like, man, this is kind of tough. It's a tough situation when you've got an office that, killed it and they're getting huge bonuses. But as an organization, it wasn't like a stellar month. Again, not a bad month. I think we finished the month at like 1.28 million, give or take. And based on our currently, so as of this recording, we're in June here. I've got 9 offices. As of this recording, at our current expense level, in order to kind of hit the EBITDA profit margin we want to be at, kind of that minimum, we're looking at, generally speaking, about 1.3 million. So again, it wasn't terribly short, but it was a little short of where we want to be. And obviously, I'd rather be at 1.35 million for the month. I think in April we were at 1.34 or something like that. So it is. I mean, it's a $60,000 swing for the month as an organization. I mean, that's all at that point in time, essentially, that's more or less all profit. So, more generally speaking, $60,000 in less profit, but still paying out a lot of these bonuses and things. And so I talked to my leadership team about it, and I was like, I want to do something that's fair for our teams, but I also want it to be fair for the business. And so what we came up with is we set, this is kind of like another, so there are for each bonus system, there's a requirements they've got to hit in order to, receive different bonuses for the month. But we've added this other layer, which is, hey, as an organization, we're one team. We're not a bunch of individual offices that are unrelated. We are one team. Everyone has gotten to kind of know each other through our WhatsApp group, and people give kudos and people go visit other offices and people help temp at other offices and bring materials. And, now we've got kind of a hygiene department with chief hygiene officer. We've got a sales department with a chief sales officer. So, we've got departments, everyone's kind of connected. Let's kind of create some company-wide accountability and create some ownership mentality by saying, guys, this is our minimum revenue goal for the month. And at our current size, I set it at that 1.3 million mark. So that kind of number we've been dancing around a little bit over, a little bit under the last couple months, that is our new bare minimum monthly revenue. And so I drafted an email to the team, and basically, I started up by thanking them for all the hard work and, kind of sharing the success stories of our growth, how much we've grown, how many employees we have, that we're giving jobs to now. The new we're about to roll out health insurance benefits. That's going to add, we're estimating about 10 grand or so a month, in additional company-wide expenses. So, I kind of thank them for the hard work that's allowed us to get to this point, talked about all the great signs of growth, but I also explained how our costs are rising. And I essentially broke down our costs for May and said, like, look at all this money we spend, just to be able to do what we do. In order to have a reasonable profitability for the month, we need to be at least at this kind of bare minimum revenue number of 1.3 million. So, starting in June, moving forward, if we meet that bare minimum revenue goal, then everybody gets 100% of the bonuses that they earn company-wide. But company-wide, if we fall short of that monthly revenue goal, which means we are not having what we would call, a solid profitability month, then at that point in time, I didn't want to take away the bonuses completely because I didn't feel like that was fair. And I didn't want to completely punish, if we have an office that has like a stellar month and they're kicking butt, I didn't want to take all their bonus away and be like, hey, because the other offices didn't do well, you're not getting your bonus. But what I thought was fair to kind of give them a little more skin in the game is they get half of their bonus. So basically half of the bonus is based on whether or not we're hitting that bare minimum goal. And I told them in the email, as we're adding a 10th office later in July. We've got plans for hopefully a couple more offices by the end of the year. As we continue to grow, that bare minimum number will increase. My goal here kind of moving forward is that it creates that added accountability. I told the team, we need to focus on our core value of teamwork and just realize again, like, I don't want people just worried about their office. I want them worried about the whole organization. So, if there's treatment coordinator that's doing really well and she can help some of the other offices sell treatment, and work with them, that's great. If we've got someone that's temping for another office, a lot of times maybe they're not as worried about all the metrics of that office because that's not their home base. That's not where they get their bonuses, blah, blah, blah. But if they're filling in for another office, now they are worried about that because they want to make sure that they're collecting the money that they need to. And this is the only requirement for like this layer that we added the bonuses. It's just straight collection. So it's how much money do we collect? And every single employee in the office can have an impact on that. Anybody that's talking to patients about treatment can help to get that treatment closed. Treatment coordinators obviously discussing the financials, payment options. Are we pre-collecting in full whenever possible? Because obviously that's going to help us hit our revenue goal that month. Are we making sure that we're doing a great job with outstanding AR? And are we, are we sticking to our financial policies so that we don't have AR become too bad? Are we collecting the money we should be collecting when we're collecting it, that type of a thing? Are we on top of the insurances? While we outsource insurance, there's still things that need to be done correctly in-house. So are we doing all those things correctly? Are we making sure that we're posting out all the codes that we're doing? I mean, that's a big, so, again, I think we've got almost like 75 employees now. Every single employee within the organization has some influence on what our monthly revenue or collections numbers look like. And now I've kind of just added a little bit of fuel or encouragement to be like, guys, let's make sure everybody is doing everything they possibly can to make sure we meet it. We're a business. Yes, we are taking care of patients. Yes, we want to make sure we're providing high quality dentistry. Yes, we want to provide an amazing customer experience. Yes, we want to do all those things. But if we want to pay our bills, if we want to continue to grow, if we want to be able to add benefits like health insurance, and if we want to be able to pay out full bonuses to our team, we have to collect a minimum amount. Like it's got to be there. At the end of the day, we need to make sure we've got enough money coming in to support all these things that we're paying for. So like any policy, I'm sure that there has probably been some grumbling about it. I usually don't hear that, at this point in time. Usually it's our OMs that hear it. It's our operations or regional manager or whatever that hears it. And sometimes they'll let me know if, about things like that. But I think it's going to be a good policy. I'll keep you guys updated on how it goes. I do encourage you, if you have bonus policies, make sure you've got some kind of safety guards in place to ensure that it's not negatively impacting profitability, or at least that you're hitting certain marks in order to pay out the bonuses, and that you're making your team kind of have that ownership mentality. So really quick bonus episode here. Again, if you haven't already, go back and listen to the episodes that do deep dives into my different bonus systems to get, a feel for all those things. As always, if you have questions, feel free to send me an email, docvalloDDS@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, guys. If you enjoy the show, please, please, please do us a huge favor. Like, subscribe, follow, share the show with others, and leave us a review if you like what you hear. Hope everyone has a great day, guys. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Have a great day.